Just making sure that our YouTube is working. It's like it is. What's up, Crash Nation? This is Jonathan Wood live on another episode of the Crashed It podcast. After an hour of tech issues, we're finally here. Um, if you want to co-host with me tonight, we're going to be recapping Capital City Carnage. It's just me. Send me a message on Facebook or Facebook Messengers. You can send me a message if you want to be a co-host. You can join in if you were at Capital City Carnage or participated or even watched. I'm just by myself tonight, so um, I hope you all don't get too bored with my voice. But man, what a weekend! This weekend was the 2024 Capital City Carnage in Topeka, Kansas, and the show from start to finish did not disappoint at all. I was I was just taken back. Um, I have a very deep appreciation for the Smash It crew. I mean, just the fans, the atmosphere, the drivers who showed up from start to finish. I got there on Friday. The second I got there, I mean, it was just action packed from the moment I got there till the moment I left. Um, but yeah, let's get so first we'll go through kind of the classes and stuff and talk about them and maybe highlight a few key moments. I would encourage anyone that hasn't, you know, that wasn't there, to DerbyNation.tv recorded the whole event and live streamed it. It's a great, they do a great job. They have, they have commentary while the Derby's going on. Check them out. I'll be posting up plenty of videos from my YouTube, but they have multiple camera angles and they do a great job covering the event. So check them out because this event was just action packed from start to finish. Drivers drove hard. Everyone drove as hard as they could to compete for the win. So this event was promoted by Smash It, Demolition Derby. Um, in the limited weld class, that was the class at the very end of the Saturday evening at the very end. John Maywest took home the win. Drove it. I mean, he drove that car. He had to earn it. Wally Meyer got second and Douglas Gibson got third. Um, they all drove a heck of a heat. There was tons of cars out there. They avoided a few shots, and man, that uh, there's a car from Caddy Nation. I don't remember the driver, but man, he was really hanging in there. I was impressed with um, Douglas Gibson. He really drove it down. There wasn't much left of that thing at the end, but he was driving it for all he had. Um, in the street stock weld heat one, Sean Pryor took home the win. Coming in second was Lane Ibbenson, and third was DJ Adamson, and the Mad Dog was Alan Hassey. Probably the hardest hit of the whole weekend was in that class, and I'll get back to that. And we're just going through results first, and then I'm going to circle back around on all this stuff. In the street stock weld heat number two, James Kitchell brought home the win. He was my pick at the beginning to win that one. Gary Russell come home in second, and third was Jarrett Ross, and the mad dog in that one was Jake Sauter. So, as you noticed, the first street stock heat one and two, they both got mad dogs. I That was a pleasant surprise to me. I remember looking back at the flyer at the beginning of I think it was in October, that Smash It put out for this, and I didn't see a Mad Dog listed on any of the flyer at all. So I was really happy to see that that Tim Clark and his crew stepped up and added in Mad Dogs. They made them earn it though. They didn't just give it out to every class. You had to really drive really hard for that. But that Jake Sauter, man, every show he comes out, he puts on a show. I love watching him because he pulls in the arena and you just know that that guy's gonna stand on it the whole time, and he did. He kind of messaged. I made a little TikTok video of him, and he said, "Man, I wish it would have fired back up." And there wasn't a person in that arena that did not wish that that car would have fired back up because he was putting on a show. In the street stock heat three, Julian Suter bringing home the win. Joe Hawkins second, Dustin Looney third. That was probably the longest heat of the weekend because I don't think anyone had steering at the very end. Um, it came down to like six cars and they went for like 30 minutes without steering. They were really driving hard and trying their best to make contact. And I think Julian might have still had steering, but most of them didn't. Street stock weld heat four, Wyatt Oberly bringing home the win. John Green, the Magic Man, or Black Magic. That's what he had on the side of his car, bringing home second. Third was Clint Dotery or Daughtery. Sorry if I tarnish some of these names or mess them up. Not very good with some of these names I'm not familiar with. Haven't got the chance to sit down and talk to a lot of these guys on the list. I'd love to sometime get a hold of them and see if they could come on the podcast. The street stock weld heat number five, Justin Steven, bringing home the win. Second was Bradley Kish. Third, Adam Klein. Um, that one there, it was a dogfight. There wasn't a bad heat all weekend long, but some of my favorite ones, the mod class, they kind of surprised me. Um, so in the mod class, normally, there's like a pecking order, and you kind of see it out there, and I couldn't really tell if there was a pecking order. I couldn't pick out who was with who during this event. It looked like everybody just went after each other and put on a really good show. Um, I wish I'd had a camera in that one of them cars. A lot of you don't know that, or maybe some of my loyal listeners know that this year we're trying GoPros, and I bought a couple GoPros and made a couple mounts. And I put them up to the test this weekend. Um, First ones I put it was in my brother's car, Joshua Wood and Landon Worthy. I want to give them guys a special thanks for letting me throw them in their cars. So I don't know if it was user error, like if I didn't turn on the cameras right before they went out there, or um, I had zip ties in like around the mount to kind of tether the camera to the mount just in case it broke because I'm not the best builder of things sometimes. So I wanted to make sure I didn't lose the camera. And I think then the zip ties slid over and hit the power button before they even pulled on the track. So man, them guys they went out there and put on a show, and they I think they might have drove a little harder than they wanted to because the cameras are in their cars, and I felt terrible that neither one of them got footage out of them. Landon said that he lost steering, and he didn't mean to send it that hard, but we all know that, man, he wanted to put on a show. Part of it was probably because there was a camera in his car. And the two-man extreme class, it's my most favorite one of the weekend was that two-man extreme derby. Levi Markley bringing home the win. Jerome Crowther and Levi Markley winning it. Andy Myers and Tyler Martin getting second. Third was Hunter Elms and Dakota Elms. And then, so in this class, I was really shocked. They gave out two Mad Dogs in this class, and that was Peyton Mitchell and Kyle Osborne and Jordan Heck and Ethan White. I talked to them guys um after they pulled off, they got their car taken off the track, and man, they were telling me they just went out there and had fun, and they gave two Mad Dogs, and I was pumped when I heard that. I told them, I love going to a derby when there's no nonsense and everyone just gets with it. And uh, if you want to watch it, you can go back on the Crash at YouTube. That one's already up. Um, that was here. Let's see, from start to finish, just derby wise here, from start to finish, that class took 11 minutes and 23 seconds from start to finish when you take out the red flags and stuff. Uh, for full size and that many cars that were on the track, I think they had like 20, uh, maybe 15 to 20. I don't really know the exact number, but for that number of cars coming on the track and for them guys to end it in 11 minutes, it was amazing to me. It might have been 13. I think I might have missed the last 1 minute of that one because I walked out. I seen it came down to the last two and they were just still going after each other hard. So I just took off to go turn on the cameras, not thinking about the amount of time it would take them to clear the track. So, man, I was very pumped to see them guys put on a show like that. In the World Compacts, Nick Bergen bringing home the win, Tyler Schaefer second, and Jeremy Grieve in third. So, man, driver from Team Last Minute bringing home the win, and it's some new names up there at the podium for our World Compacts. Tyler Schaefer driving a heck or drive down there, and Jeremy Grieve in third. Third, um, we'll get back to that too. And the front wheel drive hobo, Logan Anderson making it back to back winners. Alex Maxwell bringing home second, and Kyle Hansen bringing home third. And that one there, I thought maybe they might have a Mad Dog in that class because there was a couple drivers that were just putting on a show, and I kind of went down there and talked to them, and they said, "Nah, they didn't give anyone a Mad Dog. They said they didn't drive hard enough." So the Tim and the crew must have been expecting someone to go end to end, um, nonstop, balls out, balls to the wall, and that just didn't. There wasn't that one person that went, from the drop of the flag end to end. There was a few that they picked their shots, or maybe there was one guy, Seth, the guy had him on there last weekend. Uh, he was putting some shots on, but he was hitting some doors, and maybe they were looking for people knocking off wheels and stuff like that. So, in the front wheel drive minivans, Hobo class, we had Lucas Winfield bringing home the win, Ben Hitz bringing home second. I think that's who we picked on the podcast last week to win it, kind of like our little thing. Casey Stegman, he ran out with some problems early. I was kind of rooting for him. He's a guy from our area right here in mid Missouri, so I was kind of pulling for him. Scott Boulder bringing home a third, and we felt like he was going to be there. Scott's always did very well out there at that arena, and he just it don't matter if he's in a compact or a minivan, he's gonna drive down whatever he's in. That guy's a heck of a driver and a wheelman. In the youth front wheel drive hobo, another one of my favorite classes of the weekend. I love seeing the sport of the hobo class, the front wheel drive youth class, because these kids, man, they're getting fired up about this youth national championship that Frankie guy's putting on, because we had a few of them that came from right here in mid-Missouri, and I talked to a couple of them, and a lot of them said, "Hey, this isn't about just going out and driving anymore. It's about driving. It's about going to Pennsylvania or wherever." They all wanted to put it in the top three. So I thought that was awesome that Smash It came out here and put them guys tickets. Them guys got tickets to the show now. These Elena, Baleen, Jarrett Still, and Cam Penwell. All them guys drove their tails off. I think my brother said it best. He was sitting right next to me and he goes, "Man, this sometimes like in the gut and go classes or the hobo classes, it's the first survival within the first 3 minutes." And he's like, "Man, in the youth class, it's survival the first 10 minutes." And I want to give big shout out to the Mad Dog, Braden Christian. And this was one I was pumped when they announced they were going to do a Mad Dog for this one. I didn't know who they were going to give it to because whoever's driving that car with Sissy on the side, they were sending it. I mean, you can see it. They made two really good shots on Jace Ray, who I had a camera right there pointing out the front of the car. And he was actually the first one to say that I could put a camera in his car when I was talking to people about trying to do it. And I want to say thank you, Jace. And also, um, Brandon Piter. Thanks, man. He ran a camera in the compact weld class, and the both of them videos turned out and they're already uploaded. I really was impressed with the quality of the footage and the way the mounts held up. Can't wait to throw them in more cars. I made them where I could really throw them in a bunch of cars, but I didn't really reach out to a bunch of people because I wasn't sure if everything is going to hold up. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're planning on running Lebanon and on April 6th, that's my next show I plan to be at recording. Lebanon, Missouri. If you that indoor show put on by Oklahoma City Boys Promotions, if you plan on being at that show and you want a camera in your car, reach out. I'm planning to put them in a bunch of cars. Like I'm planning to have out two cameras on the track each time the cars come on. We'll see how it goes. It might end up being just one on one or one of the heats, just so I can ensure getting cameras swapped out of batteries if needed or whatever. But man, overall, from start to finish, this was one of my favorite Carnages that I've been at. Uh, Everyone I talked to was pretty happy with the tech. I know a couple guys chose not to fix their cars, um, just because it would have kind of destroyed what they had planned going in. You get that at most big shows. Someone loads up because they don't want to change stuff. So, and everyone I talked to said they were pretty happy with the way the tech went. The crowd from, the atmosphere. That's something a lot of people don't talk about. And Track Shot Live had an awesome video, I think, or maybe it was on the Capital City Carnage reel page. I seen it. They took a reel, just like if you've never been to Carnage and they're walking in the arena, you know, and as a fan and walking down the stands and they show you just the seats are filled, everyone's having a good time. There's cars getting ready to pull on the track. It's the calm before the storm, and everybody's just excited to be there and ready to have fun. And I talked to several drivers that were taking part in this event, and they said, "Man, that was a blast. Can't wait till next year." I talked to drivers that weren't on the track that's been out there in years past, and they said, "Man, this is really hard sitting here, um, driving all the way here and not dragging a car with me and being out there." And they said that won't happen next year. So overall, great show. Um, so the probably the biggest buzz of the weekend going into it was this Fiero. This Fiero created a ton of buzz. It ran in um the compact mod class. There was a lot of excitement around this car. This I think his name was Ben Johnson. Um, something Johnson. I talked to him a lot, before the event, and he said, "Man, I broke the internet, and that's what I was shooting for." And I said, "Yeah, you did." I said, "I've had 3,000 people probably reach out to me, and like that was definitely an exaggeration, but that's what I told them." I said, "I've probably had 3,000 people reach out and just say, 'Man, I just can't wait to uh see that Fiero run. You better be recording it.'" So, I told him, I said I was gonna be recording them, and he had his people recording too. Um, I actually have people watching this live stream right now, this time of day. I'm so sorry for all you guys that are gonna watch this back. And um, so what I've been doing, I've been trying to improve our quality of our live streams and our interaction with customers and all the people that watch. And so I was messing with our new program that I got, but I couldn't figure out how to work it the way I wanted to. So we're back on Zoom for the moment. But so this guy, he always um he builds stuff. He told me it took him 2 years. He meant to bring it last year to Carnage. He just ran out of time, and he just builds stuff that you don't see. This was the same guy. They call themselves the Crash Team Dummies. You can look them up. Um, there's a picture kind of I took a close up as it's getting drug off. It's out of the arena going down the road next to it now. And man, that front bumper did some wonky things for everyone that's tuning in or going to tune into the live stream. I'm going to be explaining this to the people that listen to this live stream on Spotify. Um, that front bumper went straight down. The pointy's about a 50-degree angle towards the ground when the car's sitting on the ground. So someone definitely cleared the front bumper. The rear end's doing about the same thing. You can't see it in this picture, but it was doing about the same thing. But this is the same guy that drove the Chevette a few years ago. So I noticed that paint scheme was about the same. So I went and started looking around. I was like, I know I've seen this paint scheme somewhere. And this guy always brings out just crazy cars. And he created a lot of buzz. And I think that's what he was, it's nice to see something different out there, but them Luminas, they ate that. They ate that female. A lot of people probably just after the kid if they weren't already friends with you. So um at least they know who you are and kind of what you're about. Building off the wall stuff and bringing it out to events like this is awesome. So this was the flyer I was talking about earlier in the stream. See, nowhere on there did it mention that Smash It was gonna have any Mad Dogs. So I was shout out to you, Tim Clark, and the Smash It crew for jumping up and providing a little Mad Dogs because without that, people driving for $10,000, and $6,000, they're gonna really drive hard, drive to win. And when you got some bonus money added for Mad Dogs, it gives someone else, that might be there for a good time, more reason to go put on a show for the crowd. And I really appreciated it. So, um, getting to, let's see here. All right. So the hit of the weekend, first heat rolls out. This was probably the hit of the weekend for me. This man, I don't know how to say this last name. So Bryce Molman, I probably butchered that too. But man, Bryce went back this thing up. I made a reel of this. This photo was taken by Serena B. Derby Photography. Serena always takes excellent photos, but um, I picked to use this and to shout her out because she's been doing it for a number of years. And she takes these snaps at the perfect time. I know she got Jacob, my brother, a few years ago with all four wheels off the ground too. And it takes a lot for a car that weighs this much to get completely airborne just after smoking somebody. And I I hope this guy's all right. He was kind of shaken up after the hit, but he went from the far end of the track all the way down and parked it. I mean, right in that guy's pillar. And he hit him so hard that pointy hit midway up his rear passenger pillar. And I mean, it just put a huge, like when he backs off of him, there's a huge dent from where that thing just parked in the pillar. Great job, Ben or Bryce. Um, Man, I hope you're doing all right. Serena, thanks for taking an amazing photo. Um, but anyone that's listening on Spotify, so this guy's got his front every wheel completely off the ground. He's cleared the guy's whole trunk and he's up on his rear passenger pillar with his front bumper. That kind of gives you an idea about how hard he hit him. And he was going about 50 mile an hour probably when he hit him. So that kind of gives you guys that are listening some insight to how that looked in real life. Another highlight of my weekend was the Scooby Ben hits his Ben hits his minivan. Man, I've never seen um the rear wheels come completely from underneath the van, flip over, and he's dragging his axle, and the leaf springs are completely up in the air, and that's used up. The whole rear of this van's been used up, and we can't be. Um, that's the kind of stuff that you go to Carnage for. You see kind of what they're who's gonna get more than what you thought was humanly possible out of a car. Every year you see such crazy things happen at some point in the show. And this year it was the minivan, um, just dragging. Someone put you're dragging your whole rear end, but the other word, I'm not gonna say it on here, but they said just like normal. And I just cracked up on that comment. But yeah, that was Ben Hits. He got second place. Um, the minivans overall, that was an awesome show for me to watch. They didn't have the end-to-end Adam Clark like they did last year, but um, everyone that was driving out there and anyone that's driven a minivan um, will tell you that they hurt really bad when you go back to back with one of them. And there was plenty of that going on. So I bet all them guys are sore. Just so you guys know, we are still taking orders on our crashed it merchandise. We got shirts, hats, hoodies out there on my Facebook page. Reach out to me if you're interested. I've got pricing and everything. We're just doing $20 for shirts, 35 for hoodies, pretty much. Hats are 25. They're going to be the Richardson black and white snapbacks, or they also have the leather patch design from Hill Job Graphics. Always doing a great job. Appreciate him and getting this design worked up for me. If you're watching the live stream, this is one of my favorite parts. I asked him kind of to add in the like a reel, like for a camera within the design, and he definitely did. And he added my send 'em and bend 'em um word phrase on there. That was something that I asked him to do. Told him to pick the colors he thought matched best, and this is what he came up with. I figured everyone probably had enough orange from the OMM team, so this would be a good change up from our family anyway, that have a little green and blue out there. So so that was just a little clip. One of the good hits here that I happened to capture uh, from the SAF driver number 77 on that number 58X of Kissinger. Um, Man, this kind of gives you. I'm gonna play it one more time just an idea of what they were, how they were hitting out there. Wow, man, when you hit like that, you can just see the shock in the drivers' bodies, and there's a lot of hard cars out there. I can tell you that right now. Um, no one, there's a bunch of hard cars out there. That's Jace Ray. He's the one that, like I said, he put the first one and okayed me to put cameras in his car. I told him I'd give him some recognition on here. Um, he did a great job. He said he wasn't nervous all weekend, and then when he got Saturday morning, when I was down there getting ready to turn the camera on, you could definitely tell he was nervous. He had a lot going through his head. He didn't really talk much in the lineup. He was kind of facing forward. Uh, they calling us in yet? They calling us in yet? He was ready, I think, just to get them jitters out. I didn't get a chance to ask him after the Derby kind of how he felt going through the tunnel. That's an experience in itself. I'm sure that not many people get to experience. So that was great. Um, I was so happy to see them youth drivers out there, man. They, let's see here. All right. So, in whole, um, Carnage as a whole is a great event. Hats off to the Smash It crew, from the facility, from the track conditions, from the fan entertainment in between. Um, oh yeah, I forgot to mention. So last year, everybody knew that old Landon's buddy or cousin or something. Maybe it's Wes Jordan's cousin. Can't remember how that goes, but he lost the bet against the Chiefs. Well, the Chiefs won a Super Bowl again back to back this year. So he bet against the Chiefs again. And this year, the Smash It crew, Landon and all them, and whoever, I can't remember his name, um, but they had a whole skit planned with featuring Travis Kelsey's. He was Travis Kelsey, the guy that lost the bet. He had to wear like a Chiefs jersey that said he was Taylor Swift's boyfriend. And then the Smash It crew went about having Trailer Swift come be his girlfriend for the night. And that was sure entertaining. And hats off to that guy. I mean, he had a good attitude about losing that bet and going along with the skit, and made it fun for the fans. And man, we can't forget our section over there. Um, if you're down to party, man, that was the definitely the section to be in. Kyle and Dylan Chilton, Kyle Wardenhausen and Dylan Chilton streaked across the track. They got to do their chest bump out there and tell everybody, tell the whole world they were best buddies for life. But um, man, great job, guys. I mean, that for me, the just the camaraderie in our whole section, being a bunch of guys that all derby against each other, figure eight against each other, all out there having a blast together. Um, as someone that records these guys and follows these guys around all year, I was telling you, I was smiling ear to ear just to see the camaraderie. These guys were out there playing cornhole before the derby, grilling. Everywhere I went, I got offered food. I only spent $34 on food the whole weekend because most of the time I was just going around talking to people and asking them how, if they're excited and stuff, and just having a good time with meeting everybody and talking to new people and people I haven't met. People had no clue who I was. It was fun going around talking to people and, just getting to know the Derby world even more as a whole. To me, that was the best part of the whole weekend was just the camaraderie that you see and everybody's there for a good time. Even the guys that didn't win, they were still in really good spirits. Uh, I heard they paid down to fifth or something. I don't know if that's true, but man, that's got to be really relieving. Just get a little gas money to come back if you get top five. But all in all, Capital City Carnage 2024 was one of the best ones I've been to. Hard hits, excellent chess matches, driving going on out there. Um, Favorite class of the weekend had to be the youth and the youth class and the two-man class. That was my two favorite classes of the weekend, just because the on-track action was nonstop. For 11 minutes, 12 minutes straight, both classes were just flat getting it. Um, I loved it. I loved every bit of it. Alan Hassey, if I'm even saying that right, hats off to you. You put on a show in that first heat. There was so much talent out there. And really, I was really happy to see some of the old legends back out there in that limited world class. Um, Man, I can't ever remember his name off the top of my head, but he's a local guy. He used to run with Jake Reed. Man, this is gonna kill me because I'm not gonna remember his name. I had it on the tip of my tongue and I forgot it, but um, he was driving again this year, and man, what was his name? I can't remember. He used to run big motor. He's always ran big motors, and man, they did drive for his wife a few years ago out there in Topeka. But man, I can't remember his name. But it was awesome to see him back out there, and he did really good. I think he drove it down to fifth place. Um, Hold on just a second. Of course, I can't find the driver's list, but man, Chicken. I mean, he drove a heck of a derby. He was driving around on nothing but rims. Chad Markley was in the first. He was in the first heat, and he didn't even place him. That was probably the longest I've ever seen anyone drive with their axle hanging out. he literally drove for like 20 minutes and his axle was like barely even in before it came out. There was all kinds of footage of it on the TikToks and stuff. Him driving around with his axle hanging way out. And I loved all the, so to speak, pro derby drivers that are on there. Like, man, all he had to do was gun it and throw it against the dirt mound and pop that axle back in. And um, but man, excellent job driving. To all of you guys that won, everybody that went out, it was awesome seeing you. Sorry for the ones that had bad luck. Sometimes stupid parts break. I know we had a bunch of compact guys that went out there and just they ran into a bunch of bad luck, like bunch of problems. One guy's steering wheel just broke off. Um, he was literally sticking his hand through the steering wheel and like turning the whole quick connect piece. Um, they ended up breaking him off for that. Um, and the mod compacts, uh, shout out to Big D. I thought he got third, but I guess he got fourth. Um, I was just looking at that. Derek Dudley showed up with a thrown together car and he drove it all the way down the fourth. Um, great. It's always good to see them guys driving them down, and it was cool to see Zach Jewell out there in a compact car, his first one, jumping both feet in. I think he threw an axle or something right off the get go, so he didn't really get to spend, a bunch. Didn't even get to test the build out and see if it was going to hold up against some full track shots or anything like that. But there's always another one. But all in all, I'm putting a cap on um, Carnage 2024. Excellent show. Smash it. Great job. Looking ahead, we've got some news coming out here tomorrow night. The Boone County Fair Compact Hobo Team Show for Lucky Sevens Promotions. Their first 20 teams registering on Stubwire tomorrow night at 7 p.m. is um that's when it takes place. I think it's personally going to fill up pretty fast. It's 3,000 to win. I think they said it's 200 to enter, but first 20 teams on Stubwire tomorrow locked in. That's going to be your, you know, your 20 teams that are going to be on the track together. It's a one and done 2-man team show. Um, and that's just the pre-registration is just for the compact hobo teams. If you're running any of the other classes on the flyer, um, if you're running the street stock, the full size bone stock, the mod compacts, just show up to the show and be ready to put on a show. That's going to be July 20th, 2024 at the Boone County Fairgrounds. This Demolition Derby will be presented by Lucky Seventh Promotions. It's going to be an awesome show, one that a lot of people will not want to miss. A lot of big names will probably be in there, and a lot of really good drivers from Central Missouri who are expected to make that trek out there. So, tomorrow night, 7 p.m., that's when you want to be. You can go to the Lucky Sevens Promotions Facebook page. That's how I found this right here that's up. Click on that events, stubwiretickets.com. I think there is a fee, like a $15 reservation fee or something, but that's just part of it, just like Blizzard Bash stuff. Um, trying to. All right. Also, um, I've had a lot of people. There's a hype building for Bristol, Tennessee. The demo. If you guys haven't heard of demo or seen something on demo, It's a new organization. They're putting on a show in Bristol, Tennessee. I think it's a month or so before like Blizzard Bash and Gold Rush. They're saying it's going to be 100K to win both their full size classes, like their featured classes. And I'm sure they're going to put in some like filler classes as well, but they won't be the featured class. There's a lot of unknowns going on with this, and that's perfectly fine. Like, um, we don't want people to go out there and blow smoke and then it being something completely different. There's a lot that they probably know that they probably aren't ready to release because they're buttoning up a few, just a few finer things. I know Caddy Nation, I was talking to Rob Hewer. Um, it sounds like they're going to be there on the limited weld team. It's going to be like a team show, kind of like Blizzard Bash um or a Gold Rush. And I think from what I hear, it's going to be head to head all the way up through. I think that's what I heard. But I kind of got on Chad. I think Chad Markwee when Chad got on his Facebook was talking about. I got on there. You can find out more information on that show on the War Room podcast. That's Dustin Woods. I think he's kind of heading up the promotion of that and kind of what demo is and stuff like that. So, um, but yeah, they've already posted the rules and how you can even get selected to be on that show. I'm not going to talk much about it because I honestly don't know much about it. So, um, I might reach out to Dustin Woods and see, kind of see if I can get a little bit more insight to what's going on, or he might just tell me, um, be like everybody else and just wait till we release stuff like that. So, we will, we're going to be keeping an eye on that, keeping tabs on kind of what that's going to look like. There's a lot of people kind of wondering where all that money's coming from, or maybe they've landed a huge sponsorship or something. And that, to me, I never root against anyone. I feel like if anyone's out there trying to better the sport in any way, shape, or form, then I'm gonna support them, support everything they're doing, because that's kind of why I'm doing the podcast. I'm trying to get more information out about Demolition Derby. I'm trying to improve, the following social media wise of the sport, trying to make everybody that I can feel famous in a certain way, shape, or form, or I'm trying to make them, you know, um, I'm trying to make them feel special and being a part of the sport. And the best way I can do that is by recording all the shows, giving them, all about the experience, of being in the car, at the show. I've been recording more like what the fans are doing. I'm recording, uh, kind of what's going on, around the show as a whole, other than just the on track action. I've been trying to do a little better about that. Um, and yeah, but we'll keep an eye on that. Like I said, my next show that I plan on attending is going to be the Oklahoma Boys Promotions Mad Dog Demolition Derby at Lebanon, Missouri on April 6th. Um, I plan on having my GoPros in the cars and I plan on recording from stands. I'm going to reach out and see if I can get some kind of media pass or a way that I can get down, down, up and down where I can record as well as get down to the cars before they come on the track to turn on the GoPros. But I'll reach out to Oklahoma Boys on that. And that's a wrap on this one. Like I said, I just wanted to come on here and shed my oh, MTM Demolition Derby got on here and said, their thoughts on Capital City Carnage was it was a great show where he really enjoyed the weekend. From the inspection to the driving through the tunnel, our weekend was short, throttle, cable broke, and battery exploding the tops off, but it was a great show. So yeah, they ran into some uh personal problems there at the MTM Demo Derby team, and that's how it goes sometimes, but they still enjoyed the show. That's one of the unique things about them one and dones that everybody loves. You run, load your car up, and you go enjoy the rest of the weekend. But thanks for everybody that's tuning in, supporting us. We've got several short shirt orders are starting to roll in, and I'm keeping up with them, and I really appreciate each and every person that purchases anything from us merchandise wise, because everything, we're not going to make a bunch on this. We might make $2 a shirt or something like that, but every little dime helps. We're traveling all over, and last year we put 20, I think it was 2,400 miles on the old car driving from show to show, and this year we'll probably be well over 5,000. So we want to just thank everybody for making it possible to keep, keep recording shows and keep growing as a YouTube channel. That's our goal, is to keep growing, keep getting better, keep um we're buying new equipment. We're trying to make our videos more entertaining from the editing standpoint. That's something new to us, and we've been playing around with a lot of it and learning. I've been talking to High Octane Media Group, Sloan Pickett. He does an excellent job with all his stuff, and he's been helping me, learn the ins and outs of the whole editing processes that I'm not accustomed to, and I'm learning each and every day, and expect these Crash It videos to get better and better as we grow. But as I always say, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Go out there, send them and bend them. This is another episode of the Crash It podcast. Thanks for tuning in.